So welcome everyone. This is our September session, though this is the last day of September for PMI-ACP. And in this session, we will explore initially what is PMI-ACP, how to prepare and how to go about it. And at the next half, we take 3 questions related to the mindset domain and also discuss them once I collect your feedback about those 3 questions. So first thing first, just to make sure that we have a basic understanding about PMI-ACP. So you can go to certification at a PMI website and find PMI ACP here. So they call it specialized certification. So it is not very generic. It is primarily focused to those professionals who are using Agile or who want to show their proficiency in Agile ways of working. Originally, the Agile is around software development, but nowadays, in many digital oriented products and services, organizations are looking for Agile ways of working. So, if that is your target segment, that is where your experience is, then you probably want to do PMI ACP. Now, basically, they focus on understanding Scrum, Lean, Kanban. These are the 3 which usually get tested. There are other agile methods also which are briefly touched upon, super briefly, but in depth it talks about generic project management in the agile manner, lean, Kanban, and Scrum ways of working, and some of the leadership topics which are associated with agile. Now, who should do PMI ACP? That's probably the first question many of you might be thinking. So I personally see it's a second popular certificate after PMP, maybe because of the number. But it is basically done by those individuals who want to show depth in Agile. Now, somebody will say, oh, I have already done PMP. I have already covered 50% of Agile topics there. Yes. In the PMP, you do at a just a higher level. It's a good spread, but the depth is not there for any topic in PMP. So for example, you end up learning what is user story, but you won't get an example of the user story to judge, is it a right user story in your PMP exam? That much depth is not there. You won't get a question asking you how well you can split this user story into smaller stories. Yeah. So you understand that in agile ways of working, the requirement is explored with the help of a tool called user story. Yeah, that much you learn in the PMP, but here you learn a little bit more deeper. You understand the overall, the life cycle of the user story, overall acceptance criteria, how it really gets done. You also expect it to have a proficiency in reading and explaining user stories. So that way it goes far, far in depth. Now, the second question usually I get from individuals, I have already done CSM. I have already done something safe. Yeah. Should I do PMI ACP? So the answer depends upon if you are very specifically using safe in your company, then you just need to follow safe. You don't have to follow anything else. Yeah. You need to know agile in their filtered view only. You need to see agile from a safe perspective because your company is doing that. So then your goal is clear. But if your company is not using safe, but you have learned it, then you know the safe is applicable in a particular context, but PMI-ACP gives you a generic context of agile. Now, same for Scrum. Scrum is great if you're a small team using Scrum in a product development company and your company is pretty much Scrum oriented, which means you don't have a project. Scrum does not have a project. Scrum does not have a project manager. Yeah, so if you don't have a project manager and you are purely a Scrum product company, then probably you just follow Scrum. But if you are working in a service organization, you have some timelines, you have a hybrid processes, you have a contract, you have a reporting, then probably you want to have an understanding to demonstrate that I know how to work in Agile in the projectized context, in the hybrid context. Those situations invite you to get into PMI ACP. If you have a clear case of Scrum or SAFe in your profession and your target is also towards that, then probably you don't have to worry about PMI ACP. Yeah? So that's a starting point. Who are the right people to do it? Now, if you have any question, put in the chat. I will just continue else. Yeah. Now, how to do it? That's the second point. Yeah. So why to do it or who should do it? I have clarified. Now, how to do it? We'll talk about the application process and content outline. And then a little bit briefing about how do we support it. Yeah. So that's the idea. Okay, so anyone has a query, please put it into the chat. So how to do it? So say path is little simple, but since it's a PMI, there is a path. Yeah. So PMI certifications are not that straightforward that you get in a class, and at the end of the class you are certified. You go for CSM class where in the 2 days you get everything done, and that's a easily achievable thing. That's the value they provide. But for PMI product, you have few steps. Yeah, though the steps are pretty simple, but still there is a step. So any PMI certificate has some amount of eligibility criteria, most of the cases. So PMI ACP has a eligibility criteria. They tell that you should be having 2 years of agile experience. Now, it doesn't have to be a project manager, team leader experience. Any agile developer, agile tester, or any role which you have played, but you are following the flexible adaptive approaches, not necessarily Scrum. Yeah, you might be using Kanban, you might be having your hybrid process, doesn't matter, but you should be using some kind of change oriented method. That's a 2 year experience you need. And then you need to have some education, secondary or bachelor degree. If you have done any other agile certification, for example, CSM, SAFe or anything, then the 2 year requirement get converted into 1 year requirement. Yeah. So if you have a 1 year old CSM certificate, then you need to just show a 1 year experience detail. If you are a PMP certified, then you don't have to show this requirement. Yeah. So your application will not have a tab enabled where you need to write the description. You directly move to the third step. So first step is education. Second step is experience. So how do? You open your account at pmi.org. Yeah. And then you start filling your education details, your experience details. And once you are ready, you submit. Yeah. That's how you open your application. Sometimes people ask how PMI is going to validate my experience. They will trust you most of the time. For few cases, they will put an audit where they will send some email. You need to send some documents to them. Usually for experience, they ask, can you provide some references who can say that, yes, you were working in that area? Even if the person is using his personal ID, that will also be sufficient. Yeah. So that could be a case for 1 or 2% chances. The third criteria, so education experience, the third criteria is you need to have agile education. So that is something 28 contact hours of agile education. That is something you need to do. Yeah, that's something and that is where a provider like us comes in. You can take us a program. We are in this section, PMI authorized instructor program. In the in-person mode, that is something you can take from us so that you qualify for third requirement. So these are the three simple requirements for getting PMI-ACP readiness. Yeah, I see something is there in the chat. Let me see if there is some question. Okay, so on the education point, BSc degree from Indian University will be there. So for a PMI ACP, that problem is not there because they are not asking for bachelor degree. Yeah, so it is perfectly okay. You just put your BSc degree, which will be most likely be considered bachelor degree. But even if it is considered secondary education, you don't have to worry because that problem is not here. Yeah. For someone who has done PSM, SSM would be considered the second point. Second point means, yeah, you will be having 1 year requirement of demonstrating experience. But if you have done PSM, CSM, I'm sure you have more than 2 years of agile experience, so you don't have to worry. But yes, if you add your PSM, CS, SSM certificate, then they will ask you to put description for only 1 year. Yeah. So I have taken the thing scoring 70 to 80%. Yeah, okay, great. I will talk. So this is something, Robert, I will take soon. Yeah, I will take soon. Just in a minute. Yeah. So these are the steps. You need to show your education. Yeah, you should be focusing on bachelor degree or global equivalent if you have done company Indian university degree as well. And then you need to focus on showing your 2 years of agile experience, and then you need to put your 24 hours of 28 hours of agile education. Yeah, that is something you do. Good. Anything else about eligibility?
Hello, Sakit. My name is
Please.
Rikesh. Yeah, I had also posted one more question. So, from somebody coming from a services organization, what is your recommendation between PMP and PMI-ACP in terms of which ones to be done first and second?
Definitely, PMP is something which is more recognizable. 1.5 million people PMP certified. PMI ACP will be hardly 70,000 people. So you want to stand in a 1.5 million people or 70,000 people, that's an easy answer. But at the same time, PMP is generically used and PMI ACP is specifically used. If I only have a time and energy to do one, I will do PMP because I want to do generic one so that I am at least in the 1.5 million population. But if I'm not eligible for PMP, I am not yet generically doing project management, I am mainly doing Agile, then only I will do PMI-ACP before PMP.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So third requirement means you need to take a 24/8 contact hours. Now, can I take from authorized training provider? That's a PMI recommendation. If you take from third party, then you need to prove that training was covering 28 contact hours. There is no straightforward yes and no. 99% it works, but there is a possibility the PMI may have some questions to you. But if you take from PMI authorized training provider training, then you get that particular thing automatically taken care. And you also get complete content, which makes you ready for PMI-ACP exam. So that was the another query. Great. So what is the content? Now in the same website, I can put this in the chat here. Yeah, the same page where you have a detail about PMI-ACP. You can download something called exam content outline. All PMI exams are around exam content outline. So what they do a survey and they try to identify what is popular in this particular segment of profession. And as per the popularity of that segment, they list out the type of thing which they will test in the exam. And that thing becomes exam content outline. So if I'm preparing or I'm thinking about PMI-ACP, I need to make sure I have a familiarity about the topics which are going to get discussed in exam. In an indirect way, this also explains, is this something I want to do? Yeah, because you also try to understand the boundary of the program. So PMI-ACP talks about 4 groups of tasks. So they divide the activities which they test in the exam into 4 groups: mindset, leadership, product, and delivery. The mindset domain basically focuses on how do you think in the agile manner? Like, do you understand how to implement agile values and principles? Do you really appreciate and understand when to apply agile? Do you understand what kind of work environment should be created for agile ways of working? So how to think in which is inspired by agile values and principle is something getting tested in the mindset. The mindset and leadership domain may look very much overlapped also. If you do mindset well, leadership will start settling down. Leadership is more about looking at an agile mindset and guiding people to apply or creating the environment to apply agile mindset. So how do you lead? How do you lead without using your authority? How do you inspire people? How do you motivate people? How do you use autonomy, mastery, purpose? How do you facilitate? How do you promote people solving the problem? How do you promote self-organizing? How do you promote psychological safety? How do you resolve conflict or facilitate conflict management? Yeah. So these 2 topics, PMI material will have 200 plus pages books for each topic. Yeah, when you become a authorized training provider client, you get that material. Uh, and those things will be pretty much overlapped. Yeah. So, but this is the value you start thinking in the agile manner. Many individuals who are targeting agile coaching and consulting kind of role, they also get a clear inspiration from this particular content. Yeah. Then we have a product domain content, which is usually a role of a product owner in case you follow Scrum way of thinking, which focuses on how in Agile we create product roadmap, product backlog refinement, product backlog prioritization, managing incremental value delivery, creating transparency, validating hypothesis, those kind of topics. Yeah. If you purely work as a Scrum Master, then this is another area of learning because you are doing something which is around product owner. In case you compare with CSPO kind of content is getting covered in the product. Then we have a delivery. Sometimes this becomes a little tricky topic, but this is something flow execution oriented and good number of question comes around matrices, interpreting of a burn down chart, interpreting of a lead time, value stream mapping, early feedback, continuous transparency, taking care of risks and their visibility of those things, something which gets things delivered and continuously retrospective, eliminating waste, those kind of topics comes into the delivery domain. These are the 4 domains which makes you ready for your exam. And if you enroll with PMI authorized training provider, they provide you PMI material also to support these these four learnings. Yeah, so that is something you can explore. Yeah. Now we had a question, and I need to also talk about how can we support it. Yeah, that is something, and Robert is asking about the scores and other things as well. So I think both will get covered when I answer this portion. Yeah. But if you have any query about exam content outline to understand about the PMI-ACP, what is getting tested, I can take care of that first. So the question came in, I just did a PMP, I want to do PMI-ACP. So please do look at a exam content outline. The depth of agile topics are very different, means it's very relatively deep. So I don't think PMI-ACP is also very deep in agile. Yeah, but I would say that if the depth is level 10, yeah, overall depth of the knowledge, the PMP may check you up to level 2 or 3 only for agile learning. And PMI ACP may go at the level of 5 or 6. Yeah, not beyond that. Yeah, that's it only, because still you have a multiple choice options and all. There are still more to cover in order to really lead the agile initiative, agile projects. You have more to do. You just don't become at a level 9 by doing PMI ACP. But definitely there is a jump of 3 points depth when you go from PMP to PMI ACP. That is about the topics which are common, but there are many topics which are not common. Yeah, so the idea of psychological safety, the idea of system thinking, the idea of lean startup, the idea of creating the high performing team, in a way it is little bit covered in the PMP high performing team part of it. But value stream mapping, those kind of, there are other content also which were not at all covered in PMP exam. So I can say that PMP exam agile coverage may give you around 50 to 60% of the topic, yeah, which with the depth of level 3. Then for those topics, you need to go to depth of level 6. That's something you need to do. And for remaining 40% topics, you need to study and go to depth of level 6. That is something you can plan when you are thinking of PMP, PMI ACP after PMP. I keep observing on social media, many people doing that way only. Individuals who were already having agile experience and then they did a PMP, they found PMI ACP very easy. They just got certified. Individuals who are not having agile experience and they just learn agile by way of doing PMP, they end up failing in the exam. That's the observation we have. So that required little bit. You need to find out your own customized process. But one thing is that must see the exam content outline carefully. Agile practice guide is can give you some content for agile mindset, not beyond that. Yeah. So agile mindset domain, which is around 25% of your exam, can get learned. Some topics of agile mindset get learned from agile practice guide, but agile practice guide is like less than 150 pages booklet, whereas a PMI is giving in their material around 600 pages booklet. So maybe 25% you cover it. After that, if you have an experience, you just use your experience. Ideally, if someone is having agile experience, they don't have to prepare anything. They can just check the exam content outline and they can go for it. But if someone is without much experience, memorize each and every line of agile practice guide, they won't be able to make the exam. Yeah, that is not at all the content. So what should you focus on? Exam content outline. And if you are enrolled to the PMI authorized training provider, use the material which you got from them, because it's a PMI material you directly download. That material is good enough for you. If you want to do a self preparation, then follow each and every topic from exam content outline. You need to go to multiple sources. I don't think you can get one place all the content. PSM1 is at the level of 5, PMI-ACP at a level of 8, if I compare the complexity between 10 to 1 to 10. So passing PMSM1 is level 5, yeah. PMI-ACP level 8, yeah, relative to that. It's a prometric test, it's a 120 question, so it's a little different game. And the spread of topic is also.
Sorry, can you please repeat the complexity number that you just gave us?
Yeah, so there was a question, how would you compare ACP to PSM1 in terms of difficulty? Yeah, that's the question. So again, as a judgment, what I'm saying is, if you are comparing 10 as a complex, then I can say PSM is level 5. Yeah, because you can pass the exam in 2-3 days of preparation. But for PMI ACP, you probably need a 15-20 days of preparation minimum. And so it will be at a level 8. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a 120 question. It's a proctored exam. It is not something you keep your camera off and give anytime, keep the browser. So that it's not like that. It's a little bit checked exam. And the content outline, PSM is basically focusing on Scrum guide, nothing beyond that, at least PSM 1. But for PMI-ACP, you have a lean, you have a Kanban, you have a generic project management, you have the content is also more. Yeah. So complexity is high relatively. And that's the value. Else, why should I do it? Okay, so if all this done, then I talk about our program. Yeah, so what do we do? How do we do? And then there are some questions which are specific to our program, which I need to answer. Yeah. So first is if you already have somehow applied for PMI application and you already have contact hours, then also you can enroll to our learning program, which many of you are in the group also already enrolled to. So we can say self-paced learning, yeah, which is our mentoring coaching program. And if you have not done anything, then you can enroll to our live classes where we using PMI material guide you. Yeah. So PMI has done very extensive job for the November delivery, and they have created guides for each domain. Yeah. And someone was asking what the material I should use. So these are the type of guides you have. This is for mindset domain only, around 250 pages for mindset. And similarly, they have for other three domains as well. And this guide tells you clearly, it is not a copy of slides. Sometimes for a PMP, you get copy of slides. This is not the case for PMI-ACP. It has a proper explanation. It also has a case studies to make you appreciate what has been told. Now, sometimes people get worried about 250 pages, I will get sick. So see, once you read 50% of it, you will start, things are interconnected. Unlike PMP, where each topic comes as if it's pretty unique in nature, you have to study it with complete focus. In case of Agile, once you get 25 to 30% content right, other content start building on top of it. Yeah. So please don't worry about the number of pages. But as you enroll if you enroll with a live class, because we can only give this material when you attend our live class. Yeah. So when you enroll for 28 contact hour live class, then you get this material, 4 slides. And then in the live class also I teach using PMI slides, which ensure 100% coverage to exam content outline. Yeah. So that's the option 1. Option 2, if you have already acquired that contact hours or advanced in it in thing, then we give this program along with our live class also. We have a video content and assessments which we give to you to get ready for the exam. Now this video content, as we have covered, we have a folders in it, and one folder is about Scrum. There is a complete Scrum guide based videos I am explaining. Then there is a one folder on Kanban. There is a project management knowledge in case someone wants to brushen up that skills. Then we have a Agile in PMI-ACP, which basically contain Agile practice guide content. So all the videos explaining Agile practice guide. And then additional material talking about Agile mindset. There is a booklet on Agile mindset, Agile working with the requirement estimation, all the key topics which we have an additional video and learning material here. Yeah. So that is something we give to the individuals who enroll to our program. Yeah. Be it a self-paced or full length, full program. The major attraction for the individuals who are coming to this program after taking contact hours from somewhere else is assessments. Now, assessments, as of now, you see in the market, the complexity level of those questions is not matching with the real exam. And that's the reason you see many individuals who don't have good experience in Agile, then they can't make it. Yeah. So that something is there. Yeah. So can we show the material which I can download? Robert, since you are here, I just want to take an opportunity. Yeah, the content. So please see it. And there are minimum 3 important documents you must download. Yeah. First one, which you should download and read is ebook on Agile mindset. So this ebook has around 45 pages, and I am showing you with example how to behave in an agile manner for each and every agile value and principle. So that's the one thing which you find in Agile in PMI-ACP here only directly. Then others are video content here. Then you are working with the requirement. I have, because I I see the requirement is a little weak domain. So we have a product development guide, which is again a 60-70 page guide. You can download it. It starts from a product vision to the roadmap to the user story to release planning. Yeah, that's another file you can download. Then we have a case study where I take a typical example, create a vision, persona, user story, and release map for that particular case study. That's a third document you can download. And others are still a video content which you can focus on. And then finally, we have some sample resources, which is like how to do these all are downloadable, like project charter, team charter, user persona, iteration planning, facilitation guide, daily stand-up sprint review. These are additional things. They are not needed for exam, but they are needed for using things. Example of team assessment, definition of done, definition of ready, definition of broken, some templates. Yeah, so these are some material. From an exam perspective, the fourth thing, so first is mindset, second is a product, third is a case study. The fourth thing is PMI-ACP ECO explained. So this is the file where I show you each and every ECO element and give a little breakup of those content. So these are the four things you can probably download. Yeah. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, is this the self-preparation program prepared for making the complete ECO coverage? The answer is no, because the self-prepared program are usually taken by those individuals who have already taken 28 contact hours from somewhere else. So I don't say claim that we have covered everything, because majorly people are taking it for assessments, but assessment will cover everything which is needed for the exam. Yeah. From the additional material which I am providing is expected to cover 60 to 70% of your ECO. But if something is missing, you will figure it out when you are going into assessment. So as of now, the self-study material, I am not claiming that it will cover 100% of the ECO. Yeah, there could be few topics which are not covered. And because we are giving it as addition to our live class. So if you want to get 100% coverage, come to live class. That's something we can say it here. So this is not a link which is accessible to public. This link is only accessible to our clients. Yeah, so the example I was showing for our clients, so I can't just have a link which you can download. Yeah. Good. Now, majorly why people are enrolling to self program is the assessments. Yeah. So usually people who give the exam once and they could not make it, those are the individuals who usually come to the self-paced learning program. Individuals who are starting from scratch, they usually enroll for the full program. That's something we do. Now, this is also important. We have the most comprehensive set of questions. If you start scoring 80%, so what we did, for each domain, we have domain specific question. As of now, for 3 domains, 70 question each domain, the delivery domain, 50 questions. Yeah, because I was just, initially it was only 50-50, but after taking feedback, we made 70-70-70. So Robert, your query, if you have done great in the domain, that's a foundation thing. You have done a right step. It means you have covered complete ECO. Because in the domain test, I make sure each and every task or subtask of the ECO, I have a question there. Yeah. So if you are scoring 80%, it means you have a good foundation. After doing this domain test, you go for full length exam. So we put a target for full length is 80%, which means you should be scoring 96 out of 120. Do we see the same complexity in the real exam? I would say 70 to 80% exam will match with the same complexity. Our exam may look little more complex, little bit more complex, little bit more wordy, little bit more bigger. But in the PMI exam, you may have some weird questions also where interpreting the question and option may not give you clear understanding what should be the right answer. Yeah. So those kind of weird questions, if you consider them hard, then they are not here. Yeah. So we can't put, because I need to justify the right answer. I need to make your mindset clear. PMI can say we are judging people based on whatever choice they are making, but I can't. So you can say out of 120 question, 20 to 30 question in your exam may look weird, which you should not consider hard, but remaining question will match with the complexity and the mindset which you have with our exam. And that's why we put a target of 80%. If you do 80% in our exams, you will do good in the final exam. If you are doing 65% in the first attempts, even around 70, less than 70, it's 50-50 chances you may make the exam or you may not. Yeah, that's something we have seen based on our past data. So we need to make sure minimum 75 we cross, 80 we feel comfortable. And in the first attempt, if you are doing first test, analyze, find out the gaps. And this you do irrespective of you have taken program from us or not. But if you are answering the question, it means you are getting it right. You know the ACO and you have checked the other part of the ECO library, and that makes sure you are moving forward. Now, if you are not scoring and you keep giving mock 2, mock 3, mock 4, then we are losing the thread. Yeah, then the whole game is tricked. Don't move forward till the time you fix the previous mock problem, because going to the next mock is the another level of validation. See, 120 question, 4 domain, each domain may give you 25 to 30 questions only. Now, each domain has a 7, 8 task. I may make some interpretation of task get validated, but I have a budget of 20 to 25 question only. And in the real exam, they may take another interpretation because 25 is less. Yeah. So mock test are helping us to judge our readiness, but mock test does not cover whatever possible can get tested. Though in our 4 mock test, I try to focus on different interpretation, different focus for each ECO when I move to the second mock, rather than just keep asking similar kind of questions to validate the same ECO and same concept. I have designed by considering the ECO for all the mock tests differently, and that itself, if you do well, you get ready for the exam. So we have a 4 fresh test, and the 5th one is equivalent to the video test, which is also available on YouTube on our free setup. So if you just want to, you might have checked our free tests already. That is also covered as a format of 120 question in the mock 5. Other places, those questions are not used. You only have one test which is designed using our video question test. Ideally, you should be scoring 90% for that test because you have done the videos already. Yeah. Any question before I ask 3 questions to you to give you little feel of how easy or how difficult PMI-ACP is by putting a quiz in front of you? Yes, so live class is something which is scheduled on the October. Also, there is in December. Yes, that's the live class. Yes. So there is a before December only. And if you have already done the application, required contact hours, then you can just enroll to our self-paced program. And then if we find based on your score that something is missing and which is not available directly, we will fill that gap. Yeah, we will support you. You just need to get started, finish our video. Hopefully you will get the confidence in our mock test alone. If something is missing, we need to provide you additional learning material, we will provide. Yeah. So you can go for self-paced only if you have already taken a contact hours. Interacting with each other, we can make you fully ready. Ready-made content is not like that. Yeah. Yeah. So live classes, do we record for future reference? Answer is yes. And they are available for the individuals who are enrolled in our learning portal. They will be available. Yes. Good. Anything else before I ask questions to you? You have been asking few questions to me. Yeah, I have to ask question now. Okay, so you have a poll should be coming in front of you. There are 3 questions only. I wait for around 4 minutes or 5 minutes and let's see. Okay, so I'm about to close. Wherever you want to click, please click. Now we are closing the poll. In the meantime, I am answering this question, how many hours per week should I study? So say in general, I think 70 to 80 hours of preparation is good enough for PMI-ACP in general. But once you do 20, 30 hours of preparation, you will know agile ways of working. So total 70 to 80 hours of preparation should be good enough. You may be doing in 1 month or maybe 1.5 months. Yeah, but it will discovered as we do it. Okay, let's share the results. So let's discuss quickly so that you get a feeling. So this is coming from first task of mindset domain. Question is, your organization has identified a unique opportunity to use AI for entrepreneurs, and the people are saying that we should build and deliver it. Some people are insisting on one time push. Another people are saying, what should we do? Yeah, that's the idea. So see, whenever we are looking at an exam, until unless there is a very compelling case made that this is such a situation where end of the life delivery is the only best thing to do. Yeah, until unless that compelling case is very clearly made, I will go for a default agile assumption that, okay, I need to do early delivery. Yeah, I need to take early feedback. And that is what you all have done. 85% of you have done. Yes. So going for MVP is a good idea. You need to validate your assumptions. Now, some of you also picked up, I can do a research. The idea of Agile is research is one, but the reality will come only when you do it. Like the question coming in, how much time I take to prepare for an exam, it's a one thing, you can discuss it, but the reality will only come when you prepare some lessons. Yeah. So the idea is whenever working software is the primary measurement of progress, the customer feedback are the one which comes as a final validation of the product. If you keep those mindset right, these kind of questions will be right for you. So yes, option C is good. When you want to validate your assumptions, you should go for MVP. Yeah, and the keyword is also assumption here, and we want to find out how should we move forward. Yeah, that's a question 1. Question 2, I'm sticking to the same task. You are a project manager working with the Agile approach. Your team delivers a release with the success criteria of achieving a specific percentage of user adoption within 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, adoption is only 50% of the target. Early feedback suggests challenge with customer onboarding and unclear value messaging. As an Agile practitioner, what should you do next? Yeah. So what it is, if you use in their Agile language, with your MVP or with your release, maybe it was an incremental release, not necessarily just an MVP, you had some benefit hypothesis, which were defining the success criteria. And we know that hypothesis is not coming true. Yeah, that is clear. What should you do next? Yeah. So see, I need to do collaboration. I need to find out what is going wrong. I need to decide, should we pivot or should we stop? Yeah, stopping could be also a decision. Changing some direction, tweaking something could also be a decision. But it depends upon the research and the problem we find out. Directly, we can't jump to the conclusion, but this will be the ultimate case. We will either change the direction or stop it. Now, directly, as you understand in any exam, PMP, PMI, ACP, you don't have to jump to the conclusion. So stop adaptation or wait for adaptation. Directly, you are concluding. So I think you all also focus on the C and D are the only options which we need to explore. Now, purposefully, I added retrospective in option C because people who are going with the keyword oriented approach, they may see, oh, retrospective is there. That's the right answer. Yes, go for it. Yeah. Yes, that is the real. I was trying to confuse by adding retrospective there. I'm saying, yes, retrospective needed, but with whom? With the team or with the stakeholders? So see, the problem which we are facing in this particular question is external oriented. It is not our team's problem. It is our adaptation, customer behavior, messaging problem. So I need to involve those people who can help me there rather than I need to ask team what happened, guys. They are not expert in the market. Yeah. And that's the reason majority of you selected option D is the best answer. Great. Yeah. So this is something you did. That's a good thing to go for. Good. Okay, so this seems to be clear. Yeah, so you are saying during a discussion of proposed feature, a stakeholder says this feature gives a lots of benefit, 3 out of 5 people. You guys got it right. Yes, you need to define benefit hypothesis and validate it through the delivery. Yeah, if all these 3 questions were right for you, yeah, C is the right answer for third. Yeah, which is majority of people are getting right answer. That is good thing. And if all the 3 questions are right for you, then what happened? You have a good understanding of first task, yeah, the ECO. Yeah, so that is something you can focus on. Yeah. So can you share the question answer again? Let me quickly show you the answer again. So question 1, option C is the answer. Yeah, question 1 was asking your organization has a unique opportunity. The indication of the question was showing it's a new area. There is no proven theory. And then someone is saying, let's build everything and go to the market. Should you do that? And the option C suggests, as we go with the agile mindset, that we should go with the validation of our assumptions. We go for incremental delivery. That's why building the MVP and taking the feedback is a good idea. So that's the right answer. The question 2 was showing that you have made some assumption, you made some release, and after making the release, the success is not coming. And now success is not coming, what do you do next? So we don't have to jump to the conclusion. We need to do problem analysis, retrospective about it. But retrospective with whom? So there are 2 options. One is a retrospective with team and another is a discussion brainstorming with the stakeholders. Since the problem is external focused, rather than internal team focused, I better do the conversation with the stakeholder. Now here the Scrum is not explained. We are not talking about product owner and other things. I just use a project manager as a context here. So it is basically talking about something which is happening external. So you better get the feedback from external world. Yeah. So until unless purely they say, you are a Scrum Master and the product owner will solve this problem, then you can go for product owner as an option. But this is a generic question. And question 3 was just asking that if people are confused about the benefits, you need to make sure that we define the benefit hypothesis and validate its delivery. That's the option C. So these are the answers. Now, if you got these 3 answers right, the one thing you got it clear is that you have a good understanding of first task of exam content outline. So in our ECO, you have this task 1, and the task 1 talks about mindset task 1, experiment early. It talks about build an increment of the product to validate solution and the market need. Actually, there are 2 subtasks. I have created all 3 questions of a first subtask only. Creating environment for innovation and learning, I have not created. This will be more focusing on fail-safe environment, creating psychological safety, and experimenting something and doing continuous improvement. So that is something was not tested. It was testing the small piece of task 1, and if you got it right, you are doing it good in this particular aspect. So again, it was just to give you a feel, how probably the things will work. And it is not difficult. It is whatever it is. You know what you felt after seeing those questions. Now, how soon after completing the PMI-ACP course people should schedule the exam? Again, from PMI perspective, after processing the application, they will give you 1 year. But it is usually a good idea to make a plan and finish it when things are fresh in your mind. So the soon you can finish our mock test, you will be ready. So usually 1 month is a good time, provided it may require around 60 to 80 hours of time investment. In general, again, your investment you will know, but 60 to 80 hours of time investment might be needed. Okay, so any question, comment from any area before I conclude this session, if you have? Yes, we will definitely guide you through the registration process as we go through the program. In fact, I have a video explaining you how to do PMI-ACP application. That is also available on YouTube. If you just check PMI-ACP application, Saket Bansal or Eisenbridge, you will find that out. It's a fairly simple process. If you are a PMP certified, then it's a 2-click process maybe after you have attended the 28 contact hours from us ATP, because those also get added automatically. If you have not done PMP, then you need to write some English. We will guide you how to write that, and we have a program video also freely available on YouTube guiding it. That's also there. But yes, we will guide you. So the self-paced program is a $150, and other programs you can check the link, but the self-paced program who are directly focusing on exam is just $150. And that's for the thing. Any specific need, Kumkum can assist, and you can go to our URL. There also you can find the WhatsApp and all those things. Now, if you have not scored 70 to 80% in the first attempt, but next attempt you score 80%, good. Now focus on mock 2. Mock 1 is over. So for example, you started with a mock 1, you scored 50%. Okay, what do we do? You analyze all the problems, make sure now you target 85 to 90%, and then good, I'm ready to take a second mock now. So I recommend you to prepare. I recommend you to analyze your wrong option. If there is any confusion, contact with me in our WhatsApp group or via email. You need to find out those gaps, the task gaps or the subject gaps, fix it, then take the mock 2. In the mock 2, this time you should be scoring 75% in the first attempt. In the second mock also not coming, then you need to take a serious revisit to the content. From a PMI perspective, 1-time exam, money, 2nd-time exam, money. Maybe the 2nd-time exam money will be less. I think first time they are charging around 26,000 for India. 2nd time they are charging 15,000 in India. but there is no free attempt. It is not CSM where you get 3 free attempt, nothing like that. Yeah, there is and in a PSM also, sometime when you take a training from PST, they give you a few free attempt also. Here, each attempt money. Yeah, but you won't face any problem if you take our feedback properly. Okay. So if it is important for you, if the agile knowledge is needed, personally, what I am seeing in the industry is the pure agile way of working is reducing. Yeah, pure particular framework way of working. Because with AI, with hybrid working, and AI projects are also data-oriented projects, there is a hybrid approach is needed. You have a hybrid working. You don't want to do a face-to-face meeting that often. You want to do a lot of digital collaborations also. So the mixed mode approach is coming in. And because of this mixed mode approach, the learning also should not be too much guided by one framework. Yeah. And especially if you are working in a service organizations, when you go for an interview, little holistic approach is appreciated. So they expect one can understand the contractual reality, the context, and then figure it out how do we work, rather than someone just opens a Scrum guide and says, this is what Scrum Master will do, this is what Product Owner will do. Yeah. So your process will be driven by the contract which you have, the deliverable you need to make, the money, the payment terms you have with the client. Yeah. Especially if you are working in a service organization. So you need to be agile, but you need to discover that agility. And that's the reason we need to be a little holistic in learning. PMI-ACP is a tool. I'm not saying that it makes you at a level 10. Yeah, it's a tool which puts you in that particular direction. Okay, so that's all from my side. You can connect with our team. You can directly connect with me also. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. Let me share my LinkedIn URL. You can follow my posts as well. I keep posting things around agile, skilled agile, and project management and program management. So in case you are interested in that area, because I teach PGMP, PMP, PFMP, other stuffs as well. Because everything get converged at some point in time. Yeah, so you are not just limited to one tool for your career enhancement. You need to see multiple tools, and for me also I need to provide you multiple tools for your growth rather than just one. So you can connect there, you can follow our ideas, and then if you have any query also, you can drop me a message on LinkedIn as well. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining today, and hope to see you soon in your career progression, and hopefully PMI-ACP can help you in moving forward. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.